Young women were leaving cushy white-collar jobs and falling over themselves to become servers at our cafe, the cafe that the rat ruled, with the aid of the sheer amount of money he left in tips every day. If you remember, I talked about the rat's hunger being twofold. We have already covered the first kind, actual food and beverages items on the menu. The second type of his hunger was more intangible. It was a quality, a dark ability, so to speak. He devoured people. No, not in the cannibalistic way. He did it with his eyes, this cutting and chewing, without actually laying a finger on anyone, but it was a diabolical kind of eating nonetheless. You would know what I mean if you were his dish, his morsel. This act of his touchless eating felt so real, I would shiver every time his gaze fell upon my feet and began to move up at a snail's pace, consuming my flesh as it traveled, making me shudder and squirm, making me wish I could be allowed to wear coarse trousers instead of the short skirt I was obliged to wear as one of the lucky, proud, and enviable band of Oakwood servers. Make no mistake, gentlemen and ladies, the rat wasn't the only one to leer at us. He was not the exception in the department of perverts. The exceptional gentleman is the one whose gaze does not linger upon your skin and your figure even when he thinks, A, that you are not aware of being watched, B, that you wouldn't mind being watched in a dirty, hungry way, and C, that even if you did mind, you couldn't do anything about it. Call me cynical, but I believe that saints are fictitious or at best, extinct. Please excuse my immodesty, but a beautiful girl is slobbered over, craved, stared at, and objectified universally. So when I say the rat was a devourer, I mean he was something special, several notches above your average pervert. His capacity to consume normal food was almost superhuman, especially for a person whose body mass index was ideal. He was neither too thin nor overweight. His ability to first grope you with his eyes and then begin to cut, chew, and swallow you roughly and quickly, like a connoisseur gone half mad, was equally extraordinary. I was not the only one to feel this way. Every one of my colleagues, which included a couple of men, and several of our regular customers, said the very same thing, using more or less the very same words. Most of our customers were poets, writers, musicians, and artists, but none of them could properly describe their feelings and experiences whenever the blood-curdling rat vision selected them as its next meal. The best summation of this horror, with which all the rest of us agreed, was by Sona Sampat, the brightest of Oakwood starlets. When he looks at me in that way, she said, I can immediately tell that his look is not just about a sexual desire for my body. All of us bobbed our heads eagerly, like a bunch of those spring-necked dolls you find perched on some car's dashboards. I feel frozen, Sona continued. I feel as though I had been captured by a cannibal, as though I hung silently struggling, gagged, suspended from a thick tree branch, while the cannibal lit a fire under my feet and sharpened his incisors with a whetstone, drooling over my promised tastiness. Our heads continued to pump in unison even after Sona had stopped speaking. Sona conjured this hellish vision on March 1st, 2019, on the first anniversary of my having started work at Oakwood. I had been experiencing the rat for a full year by that evening. We knew his real name, of course, but Sona had called him a rat once, and the label had stuck. The inspiration for the moniker came from his tic. His upper lip would sometimes begin twitching, making him appear, well, ratty. It didn't happen all the time, but he had no control over it. Those twitchy, ratty moments were the only ones during which the rat appeared unsure of himself. He would lower his head and hide the twists of his mouth behind a croissant or a burger, but his entire frame would shake slightly while the fit lasted. Some wise people say that God always keeps some balancing out levers in her hand. Anyway, let's go back to the 1st of March again, when Sona painted that rat the cannibal picture with her words. Today is the 7th. Our magnanimous, gluttonous, lustful rat has been missing for the last 6 days. Our cafe is desolate without him. Good riddance, yes. But that man flowed in every day like a river of money, leaving a lot of banknotes behind when he would flow out. when he failed to show up on the 2nd of March for the first time ever in several years. There was quite a sensation. A strange mix of relief and panic gripped everyone, but we put his absence down to something mundane, like an upset stomach or an urgent meeting that couldn't be held in a public cafe. The next day, on the 3rd of March, newspaper headlines told the entire city that the rat, they called him by his real name, of course, had been missing for over 48 hours. The police had just filed a missing person report as of the time of that story going to press,